All right, finally got my YouTube connection working. Ready to do some Bitcoin, Getting ready to do some Ethereum price action with a camera that is grabbing my green screen, and I haven't been able to fix it all day. So we're gonna see some. I'm gonna keep myself small. Maybe I can, go to the left, go to the right, make it kind of move in waves here. I don't know. I woke up and my technology was not working very well, and I've done nothing differently. Done absolutely nothing wrong. Not for sure what's going on with this. Kind of hurts the effects, doesn't it? Oh well. Here we go. What we're going to do here today is the typical routine, but Thursday I am not going to have a live show. It's Thanksgiving Day, or it's Thanksgiving time in America. And so if anybody on here is new, the questions and the Q&A, I typically only have time to address the questions that have an emblem with a star next to it. Those are the YouTube community members, which is my getting to their questions first and concentrating on those and super chats is among the benefits of that tier, of being in the YouTube tier. Discord members, typically they talk to me live anyway. They don't need to do this. So you're not going to be... So if you want to have live interaction with me, for me to respond to you, typically either the YouTube tier for the live shows on YouTube or join Discord where you can turn on your mic and ask me questions, share your chart, whatever the case. But just heads up, if I skip your question, I did it on purpose, most likely, because I'm skipping to the community tier members. All right, this is very distracting. We're going to have to go like this. Nope, I think it's still doing it. Damn it, son of a bitch. All right. Anyway, I thought I was gonna fix my my green screen. I'm just gonna have to make myself small. Trying to figure out. My whole systems are messed up. All right, there we go. Or we're just going to deal with it today. All right. I summarized Bitcoin price action in the three main ways that it can move and most likely will move over the next 14 to 20 days. I made a 2-minute video on that. If you want the super summarized version, then you're going to go to my channel and watch that, or you can wait till the end. I'll link it to you. In this video, I am going to go over more detailed what each line is, and from a formatting your brain on the time axis, go into a little bit more detail there above and beyond the super quick Bitcoin analysis video. There are still three main ways that Bitcoin can move. It is not better to just guess one and pound your chest as it happens to go, or just delete tweets if it doesn't go that way. That's not what you should be doing in this market environment. Right now, looking behind us, we have, I get rid of myself, here we go. We have, between green and orange, a middle zone with which price can interact with major lines, green and orange, but it might just go sideways for 14 days. And here, right about here, is December 1st. The monthly candle happens. I'm expecting some type of backfill after this December 1st, right? And it could last about 5 to 9 days. You can either go sideways. You can either, around before December 1st, come up and touch it, come back to the middle, and then scream up for the monthly backfill that's after this line. So before this line is hit, December 1st, go sideways, touch the line, come back, or touch this line, then come back. Those are the three main ways that we're going to go over. I'm going to describe to you everything so you can put it on your chart just like mine. And if you don't want to do all that, but you do want the lines and you want to watch it on my chart, I stream my chart live with the exact levels. And I even have fancy little animated candles that show you the 3 most likely ways that Bitcoin price would move over about a 24-hour period. So if you want access to that, so you can let me do the TA for you, and you can just watch it on YouTube instead of Tradingview, then that is also available to the Cryptillion YouTube tier and all Discord members. So let's get into this Bitcoin. Here we go. All right, my green screen is there. Hey, Mildy Average, I will get to your super chat in just a second. I'm going to do some Bitcoin stuff. Okay, I have more, I guess, realistic drawings right here about how price is going to move. This is the time to help out your content creator and hit the like button. And if you're new, subscribe and hit the bell for all alerts, because I'm going to walk you step by step through price action so you can stay in control. We have vertical lines right now because of this monthly close, and Bitcoin has already confirmed fallen off a cliff. Just a question of, does it continue in November or does it backfill after December? And backfill just means on the monthly candle, like let's go to Bitcoin on the monthly. So for anybody, that's not clear on what I mean by a backfill. Right here. So at the 64K top, as it accelerated, right, it still went up for 9 days. And all you can see is this wick right there. And that is a backfill. It just goes up into the previous candle, right? That was a big backfill relative to the candle body size, but it went up for 9 days. So let me go to like the 4-hour chart and go back there. Here's May 1st, exactly on the bell. Boom, boom, 11 days before it went down. So that's what the backfill looked like. It started the month by correcting, higher local high, big correction, completed an inverse W, I guess, fake out twice, and then dumped. But all that backfill, even though it wasn't super bullish, it still went up. It went higher over 9 days. It went higher multiple times over 9 days. Look, the exact month. Higher once, higher twice, higher 3 times over a period of 12 days. And that's what I mean by the backfill of the week, or of the month. I apologize. Okay, so let's go back here. So that's why I'm really concentrating on these vertical lines. Weird stuff is going to happen around this date, which is Wednesday, tomorrow, at the time of this recording, the 23rd of November, 2022. It's at 2 p.m. New York time. This is the monthly candle closure exactly at midnight, on late November, early December. If you, and no matter what you're thinking, you need to realize if price accelerates up this time, then before this line is hit here, it's likely going to pull back because the oscillations of, I guess, of Bitcoin over this period has been about like this. And I would use the 4-hour chart, because the 4-hour chart usually gets you oscillations about this big, right? So the 4-hour time frame is going to be key because of the separation of the last 2 major instances that whales can do their whale games. So some of their next 2 chances. So the 4-hour chart is going to get the right length of oscillations. Am I making sense so far? So if you're going to use, if you're a big fan of micro time frames, you might want to keep your eye on basic 4-hour oscillators like stochastic RSI or stochastic itself. The exact cross down, the moment these two cross, might not be the best signal, But once, for example, the 4 hour is hanging down this low, and then from this point to this point, the 1 hour RSI had gone from up to down, back up again, and is getting ready to curl down. And it all happened on the 4 hour from here to here, but the 1 hour went like this during that time. Exactly. So once the 4 hour is hanging down this low, and then the 1 hour then crosses on the same indicator, whether it's stochastic RSI or RSI, once the 1 hour then floods in the same direction as the 4 hour, that could get a big ass move instead of the very first cross of the 4 hour. But I'm telling you, I really think that the 4 hour time frame is going to be where, I guess, oscillators and just it's going to be kind of your cheat code if I had to make a guess. All right. Keep that in mind. So we're formatting our brain to time first. I'm really trying to stress this over the last couple days. Even though you can't time the market, but still, these events and the price movements and the weirdness, it's all based off time. Now, also kind of formatting our brain here, formatting the viewers and my own brain to what I'm saying, visualize 14 days up here. Okay. And so these price paths that I offered about 14 days before they all kind of tanked down, besides this guy. Shouldn't be. Boom. All right. And these represent the idea that between white line 1 and white line 2, either price is going to hit the orange line, or it's going to hit the middle line, or it's going to stay in the middle like the yellow price path. Does that make sense? So these are more realistic price paths. Either it will hit the yellow line before this happens, or it'll hit the orange line before this date, or it'll ride down the frickin' middle in a very boring fashion and likely have one more spike up into the weekly 10, something to this effect as it's coming down, and it never hits the origin line. Something to that effect. So those are three price paths that really could happen. And if you want to draw those, do it. Because those are damn good guesses. Now, I said at the very beginning, there's no friggin' reason to guess which one's going to happen. And let me show you why. And pay attention to what I'm saying to you. You shouldn't guess right now. Just don't guess. Because, look. Oops. Okay, so this price path, we only have how many major lines that are in play right now that are going to affect price? 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not counting the time axis. We have 4. So in order to get to this one, what do you need to do first? You need to get over this one. So since price is not over here, I'm keeping this one in mind, but it's not on my radar right now. I don't need to guess that. Because once price gets up, so let's go to like the 5-minute chart, really zoom in on this BZOCH. So you're gonna see just as obvious, like it should be this obvious. Look how obvious this is. The price crashes down in that super important orange line. It goes back to the 64K top. Then it fails it more, comes up, gets rejected by it multiple times. Isn't this obvious? Look how obvious this is. When it came down to it the first time, it did not use it as resistance on the way back up, kept higher lows. Wasn't obvious it's going to go that high, but it was obvious it was at least going to test this neckline as the way it came back up into it. So let's dive here. Let's look at the difference. So it's not a death sentence to pass a support. It's what the candles do on the very micro time frames when it comes back up. So because it did not use this line as resistance for even one single candle, I would have known that it's extremely statistically likely that the next 5-minute oscillation down will get a higher low. And it did. It kept higher lows and blasted up, much higher than what anybody would have guessed, unless you're the market maker who hit market buy on that. And then here, what did it do? On the 5-minute candles, also did not use it as resistance on the way back up. Here, it lost it a second time and then did use it as resistance. So it was completely obvious that it was going to go down. So I'm saying the same thing. This is why you don't need to guess. It's going to be obvious. I'm telling you. It's going to be obvious. But what I also want to tell you is I would make myself big to get your attention more, but my camera's not working. And I don't want this green shit waving all over the damn screen. So, but listen to me. How about when I crinkle the can? That means freaking listen or go, hey, like, let's see here. Hey! Yeah, that noise. That means I'm big. You don't need to guess because when it gets above this line, it's going to be obvious that now this might be my favorite fractal. Come up here. But until it's obvious, I just need to bookmark that as, okay, one of the top 3 probabilities. But I don't need to play this yet. Why would I guess it if it's going to be obvious? Am I making sense? Similar to when I begged people about Solana, it was $150 or whatever. You know, don't bet against the statistics. Why would you do that? If you want to buy Solana, wait till it's under $30. No matter what, it's going to 12 to 22. 12 to 22, doesn't matter how high it goes first, this is where it's going. All that stuff, right? Like why would you fight against statistics, or why would you bet against statistics? So, the same type of question. Why would you want to guess if it's going to be obvious? Like, who cares? Who cares about guessing? Okay, so I want to get you, let me make myself big. I want to get you in, I want to really concentrate today because I'm going to take a break the rest of this week, right? I need you to format your brain to the time, but also I want you to stop guessing until we see you next on, for next Tuesday, because I'm not going to be on Thursday. And to get you through that, week, a week without cosas, that's how you're going to stay safe. I promise you. Okay. And also potentially, watching my live chart or building this chart for your own and making it identical. All right. So there's one price path. Let me go to like the 2 hour. I think the 2 hour chart might be where I want to go. Yeah. So for a 14-day time frame, that is still up here, right? 14 days. We're really focused on this December candle closing because there's going to be a backfill. But what does it do before then? That's one. Here's the more bearish one right there. So this is the one where before December 1st, it will hit the orange line and not this one, even though the origin line is orange, but it hits the bottom one closer to 14.3. And then comes back to the middle and does its monthly backfill, or stays in the middle and does nothing sexy until after the monthly candle closes. Then it races up to backfill and satisfies trying to touch the weekly 10 before going down. And if you don't think touching the weekly 10 before going down is a real thing, let's zoom out. What did it do? So it went down, but before it went down more, what did it do? Touched the red line, went sideways forever. What did it do? Interact with the weekly 10 and then went down. So you think if we zoomed into here that it would be obvious when it lost it? Like it obviously accelerated once the buyer stopped defending it, right? Do you think it would be obvious? Sometimes it isn't, but let's try it. Look at the 15-minute chart. Is that obvious? It's kind of hard to play because it went down pretty far. But still, once it goes down, what do you usually expect? A rejection. And this is just a small failure pattern. So yeah, it was obvious, but this is a loopy / sloppy play. This one would have been harder to play than your average bear, but it's still obvious. Like once you saw this, waves of 3, technically 1, 2, 3. Well, it really only got 2 pushes, but the third one was after. Yeah, the third one was after it. So 1, 2 pushes, expecting a third, because Bitcoin goes in waves of 3, just usually does on every time frame for whatever reason, and you get your rejection after wave 1 or after wave 2. So yeah, it's a big deal. this line really, really does work. And that's why even the middle one, it wouldn't heat up and do something cool until it's time to go knock on this door of the weekly 10. Like, hey guys, we're ready to send shit into the depths of hell. Like, you know, who's coming with me? I don't know what movie it is. It's a Ben Affleck movie. It's like him busting in and telling his friend, okay, a lot of people are going to get hurt. We're going to steal a lot of things. And I can't have you ask any questions. And he says, okay, whose car are we taking? Like, that's what this is. Like, hey, man, let's go cause some shit. Okay, let's go get it. Like, but it's all about the weekly 10. And it's probably going to happen again. So here, before a big move down, it got rejected, but it got a higher low. Then it did a failure pattern. So this was a rejection, failure pattern, boom, messing with the weekly 10. So if, in general, now kind of putting this full circle here. In general, if the origin line is not hit, which is really strange to happen if the origin line causes hesitation in price after a big fall down, as opposed to falling all the way to 12,100 down here immediately. So that's also a common way, but it didn't happen. So because that didn't happen, got hesitation at the origin line, it almost always hits it almost always goes sideways for 15 to 35 days and hits the origin line once or twice. But in the times it doesn't hit the origin line, it does hit the weekly 10. If it were going to just not hit either on its way down, it would have happened immediately. It would have kept going. Like I'm telling you, I'm not guaranteeing anything, obviously, but one of those is going to happen with an extremely high probability. Origin line will be hit way up here, or the weekly 10 later on, and that would be during the monthly backfill. Weekly 10 ain't happening until December. It's just so unlikely for the weekly 10 to be hit before then. But yeah, so those are the three price paths and all the reasons why this should make exact sense to you. Now, let me break it down super simply, and then we'll move on to a different coin here. I got too many damn things happening here on the side of the screen. Okay, this is a clean chart right here. So let's get rid of my 14 days. And we'll keep the vertical labels. All right. With exception of the time axis, so this white line here and this white line here label. Within a big range for Bitcoin, 25%, there are only, so this is a very important summary, there are only 4 lines that are going to greatly pivot price, where buyers and sellers will be making big choices in waves. There are only 4, and these are them. 1, 2, 3, 4. These lines on the time axis will make a difference too, but we're doing non-fourth dimension. We're keeping it in 3 dimensions right now. These are the only things that are moving price. All right? Just like I proved it with the weekly 10, do you need me to prove it with these? I mean, hell, I could probably, look, you know, a lot of people might say, oh, this was a neckline and, you know, or like all these head, like, for example, here, you know, this is a head and shoulders, right? But let's go to the 3-minute chart and let's see what's really happening. What's the real line? Huh. It tagged both of them, origin line and this were really close together. The extremely volatile wick down went between both of them. Then it perfectly hit the origin line, and then it lost the origin line. Then it's messing with these because these are separating, right? They're diverging. So it had to pick a line. Like price couldn't keep pissing with both for too long because they're diverging. So it decided to, here, let's zoom way in there, watch. Let's make this, let's make it hot pink so we can see it better. See that? 3-minute chart. Origin line, that's been there for years and years. Haven't moved it. This, it hasn't been there. It's been there for months and months. So these lines are real. Okay, then it comes back down. Perfect resistance. Keep moving. almost perfect resistance. Went back up to the origin line. Bounced on it. Another hot pink line. Then the battle moved to, so this was the battle line for a while. Then the battle got moved where? Here. So it's like saying, hey guys, let's take this fight outside. You know, two drunk dudes in a bar being stupid and drunk. Like, oh guys, take it outside. Okay, so, you know, fighting in the bar here. Let's take it outside. Okay, let's take, so this is where the fight was on the origin line, right? So necklines, patterns, what's forming the necklines now? This freaking line that goes back to the 64K top. You can see it on the candles. It's obvious. I'm telling you, this is like the major line in play. It's not some necklines. It's not horizontals. This thing is descending. And it is the battle line where most of the fights are happening. Look, just look. This is where the fights are happening, right? So the bulls essentially are allowing, or the bears are allowing the bulls to run it up in it. But this is where the bears step in. And then if the bulls are strong enough to get it up to this line, well, then they step in here even harder and push it back down. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. That's where the big fights are breaking out. And there are only 4 lines. So that's another reason why you don't need to guess which way price is going. It's just 4 lines. And these are the lines. So remember, I changed these to hot pink. So we have origin line, these 2, that's for 3 total, and then a channel line. To summarize, this channel line, I have it all smashed on this chart, but it is from the macro channel here, back from the 69K top. It's this line here. That's what you're seeing here. It is a real line. Boom, boom, boom. All the resistance, like this is for real. I could prove it to you here too. Like this is a real line that goes back a year. And then, so the pink lines, I can just zoom out now. Right? I think I've already covered this. Back to the 64K top, it's just the best fit line. I usually don't use lines like this, but that's where the fights are breaking out. So let's zoom back in. And then the bottom of it, that same channel or fat trend line or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in there, so that's why you don't need to guess and be doing all these weird, funky analysis, because it's going to be obvious. I just showed you that these are like really the lines, and how it behaves on it is going to be obvious. Now, there is one exception, and I'll leave you with this thought. The closer to this line you are, the worse signals you'll get at these 4 lines. That is, if price is very close to this line, right? Either on this direction or this direction, doesn't matter. Like if it's just before or just after, it doesn't matter. If it's super close, the laws of physics are going to break down there. Rules will be broken. It's, like I was just telling my VIPs, it's similar to an event horizon. And it's similar to gravity, that, the effects of gravity quickly, relative to the other 3 fundamental forces of the universe, they quickly dissipate with distance specifically. And the farther away you get from this event horizon, the more like the obviousness that's going to happen. But if you get closer to here, maybe it will, go below this, spike below this green line, failure pattern, rejection pattern, swing down. But instead of coming here, it makes a higher low than goes up because it happens so close to where the laws of physics break down. I would say on each side, there's only, so this week, so if it were actually FOMC, the time would be 2 days on both sides. It would be a 4-day window. But for the minutes, it's probably only a 1-day window on both sides for a total of 2-day window, and we're already almost halfway through it. So between here to here, through Wednesday, whatever, when the markets close, I would say give it a little bit of space from there, maybe 8 p.m., maybe, I would say when Bitcoin closes at 7 p.m. New York time on Wednesday, that's when the effects of the event horizon are going to lessen. The rules of physics will begin applying. And, if it goes, let's say, if price goes below this support, failure pattern, failure rejection pattern, take out the punch low, that's when it's a good signal as you're farther away from that line. That should get you 2 whole weeks. I'm telling you. Let's come back to this video if I can't make another one for a while because of the holidays, but this will keep you safe. Unless price deviates from my top and bottom lines, which is possible, but I would say it's close to a 90% chance Bitcoin price will stay between those lines throughout the next 2 weeks. So you have an extremely high probability that those price paths I just showed you will be what plays out, one of those 3, and formatting your brain to the time axis with the event horizon and all that will keep you even safer. So you're not relying on these lines, my 4 lines, when it's close to one of these 2 white lines. Does that make sense? Rely less, trust less, be more defensive, or just don't trade if it's within 24 hours. And yeah, that was Bitcoin for you. Let's move on. I would not be surprised if he has people on a trading desk. Hands before the tweet, lets them know, okay, this is going to go up. Buy on spot, bring it up. Our shorts are going to be around this. So we're going to invite buyers, get them all excited. And we're going to, as we're taking on shorts here this whole time, now that we got everybody excited for a bump. And then now, since we own a shit ton of Doge, we're going to dump it on spot. So our futures make, we get about $50 million to help pay, to keep Twitter afloat or something. Looks like that's what's happening. This is not institutional money. It's not natural. It's not a pump group on Discord. Most likely that would take too much money. It's legal. I'm not saying anything's illegal. Wow. Yeah, because if you knew that you could move price where you wanted it with either a tweet or buying and selling on market spot, market buy, market sell, or a combination of both, and set your limit, your buys and sells or sells on futures, because you can run price up or down into your orders, and then right at your orders when they're filled, you do the opposite action, move price the other way. There's just no way that's not what's happening. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. and I'm not recording this part for SHIB because I don't want to freak people out, but that I think that's what's happening, everybody. All right, anyway, Shiba Inu. This is stupid. Dogecoin price. I might have been saying Shiba Inu earlier. I apologize. This is Dogecoin, Elon. Dogecoin price. I'm going to keep myself small because my green screen's acting weird with my recording software. We're going to zoom in to this part here, this yellow line. But before we do, I need to zoom out so you can see the importance of that yellow line. Just slightly off, actually. Must have dragged it somewhere. Boom. So this is the same yellow line that we're going to be dealing with. Get some major pivot points and price action in the past. And we're going to zoom right in on it to current price. Go to the 15. I'll start off with a 1 hour chart now that we know the importance of what we're looking at. So typically after a large pump like this, I mean, almost always, you're going to get a 45-degree angle hit past, the immediate second to highest high and the first higher lows, right? For head, what people call head and shoulders. But you usually hit this line outside of this region. So you come down, then come back up, something like this, or you wait a while, you scoop it out, then hit it even lower. But it usually happens. So the longer this goes sideways, the less and less impressive that rally would be. And it almost looks because price has gotten rejected from this obvious area here that I had labeled before all this happened, right? So I made this analysis when it had just fallen off this white origin, or this origin line, or is that an origin line? Nope, that horizontal there. I thought it was going to use this as support. It did not. It came down to my origin line and used it as support, and then came up, proved this as resistance, and then like ultra proved it as resistance. It's kind of silly looking. So it is possible that what's getting ready to happen is it just chops around, in some type of triangle fashion this way, or ascending triangle. But I still think that it's likely that this 45-degree angle is hit. I know it's strange, I know it's simple, but I'm telling you, it almost always happens. So that's why I'm kind of anticipating sideways movement, and that Dogecoin tends to hold this yellow line. I think I think buyers are going to defend this line quite a bit, because eventually it needs to come up into there. And it could be just barely, higher than current price, because if it waited to do it way out here, well, shit, that's only like 10% higher than current price, right? It's only 6%, but it still looks like it needs to hit it. And because it's already been rejected by this, it doesn't look like it's going to go up into it, right? Quickly. So because it doesn't look like it's going to go quickly, and it doesn't look like it's going to break down, therefore I shouldn't forget about the 45-degree angle. It looks like it's going to bounce on this and hit it slowly. Now, is that guaranteed what's going to happen? Absolutely not. But as of now, it looks like the most probable scenario. Instead of guessing, which one's going to happen, just accept it like it's the most probable, right? When do I know to flip the probabilities and hunt for something that's more probable? Well, easy. When it gets above this line or below this line. That's it. So until one of those triggers happens, don't guess. Just guess that in this triangle, and generally sideways, is the most probable. I don't need to guess anything else. I don't need to. right? If it gets up here and then starts coming back down onto that horizontal and then maybe starts bouncing, okay, well, let's start guessing up. Or the event that if it can't take out the high, that it's going to break down. So there, at this moment, you can start guessing when it's interacting with something that causes a pivot. But if it's in the middle of a pivot point, and and yes, there are further pivot points. If you're trading the 5-minute and all that stuff, I'm talking 1 hour mentality and bigger, 1 hour candles and bigger. There are no other price point pivots. This line and this line, nothing between it. And that's how, and so this one line is horizontal. So I have the horizontal clearly labeled here. This line is rising. So this week it's going to be around 7.2 cents. Next week on Monday, that's going to be about 7.6 cents. So it's going up, roughly, what did I say? 7 point, yeah. So like a half of about a half a penny a week. And you could also zoom out and try to draw these lines. So that is how I would, get through my own analysis with SHIB. With Dogecoin, sorry. Origin line, horizontal. Until then, I'm going to trade, potentially look to sell here and look to buy here until proven otherwise. It's more likely to range until one of those are broken. And if it does hit the bottom here, like it just did, honestly, I wouldn't mind trying to trade all the way up there. That's a big trade. It's 30%. That's big. So there's a lot of money to be made in this area. So if you like making money with Dogecoin, sorry, I might have said SHIB 3 more times. Don't be mad that it might just get stuck in here. Don't be mad at my analysis. There's so much money to be made here. Perhaps even more than some breakout or breakdown, because there's going to be a fake out around there. There's not a whole lot of fake outs staying in a range. It's a fake out once you leave, once it goes past it. So as long as it's in the range, you have plenty of playroom and you have predictability. So enough volatility, 30% with high predictability, that equals profitability. And yeah, this looks like a great range to trade. I'm not gonna lie. Dogecoin. Okay, and then I don't feel like doing XRP. People were only watching XRP videos when it was going up. All right, so let's start with Kadena. All right, Kadena, United Arab Emirates, what's up? Here is my thought process from my last Kadena video. I was envisioning that because it went below this origin line, which when we zoom out, it's very obvious, right? I'll zoom out in a bit, but this is not some line that'll go away and I won't ever use again. This will be relevant 3 years in the future. Because it went below the origin line, this guy, it needed to attempt to get back above it by strictly maintaining this structure. And once it broke the structure, if it happened at the origin line, then it would hit, it would go into this box for sure. And the analysis must have happened around here. Sunday 13th. Yeah, I've covered it. I covered it on Tuesday. So let's zoom way into there to the 5 minute. Let's make this line more obvious. I don't know why it's like, there we go. And let's see how it worked out. Regardless of that formation, that triangle, I know that as long as it holds a higher low structure, it can keep working out, and the time it breaks it. So right here is when, so at this point right here, I wouldn't have shorted right there. I would have waited for it to come up to get rejected by the blue horizontal or the origin line. That's it. So it did break down pretty nicely, and the breakdown really started, I mean, right at these two lines. Support, support, support. Let's go way in. All right, so where's it going now? But we can see here that these are the lines in play, right? And it swooped just below this one again. So just like it swooped below this origin line, it's swooping below this guy. So it's grabbing liquidity. So people are putting stops and stuff down there, but there's liquidity. Or maybe it's because people are watching my videos and they're trying to buy right here. So prices like, or maybe trying to long there. You're getting stopped out. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of liquidity being made just outside very obvious lines, and it's happened a few times in a row on Kadena. So I think it's probably because my viewership, if you're all along in the same fucking line, it's going to go below it because all your stops or liquidations are going to be there. It's going to go past it. All right. Especially with this small of a cap. Like, hell, the exchanges will go do it themselves. Exchanges are the biggest whales out of almost anybody of crypto, holding Bitcoin, if they hold Bitcoin, right? Like, they're screwing around with your money too. And they can see your orders, so just be careful. This looks like it's my viewership doing it, if I had to guess. But anyway, what is this? So this is the monthly close. In general, I would be a little surprised if Kadena came back into this zone. I should make that not a black triangle. Let's say red or not. The black boxes I do want hit. I could see it barely getting into there, but getting above, much above, about 89 cents. I mean, Kadena doesn't have a lot of buyers, and going up much more than 11% when SPX needs to head down. So unlike Bitcoin, I don't think this is going to have the gumption to behave normally after going below an origin line. Usually you'll want to come retest it. I think it's going to get rejected around this area. Maybe just barely poke its head in here. And this is going to be through the December backfill. So what I'm saying is going to last 14 days. It's not just tomorrow and you're going to get a God candle into there. No, I'm talking about over the next 14 to 15 days, about 2 weeks. It's going to have I think it's going to have a hard time even getting there. But if it gets there, it's going to have a hell of a time getting above. And really, unless Bitcoin is above its origin line, any price movement above this horizontal, especially if it hits this, not financial advice. So if Bitcoin is not above its origin line and Kadena comes all the way above here to its origin line when it really shouldn't, I would personally consider a trap. And I personally, not you, not financial advice, I personally would begin looking for short opportunities. Again, so don't forget the key point. If it comes up here when Bitcoin is not above its origin line. If Bitcoin flies above its origin line, goes up to 18 and change, okay. What I'm saying, I would not make the same play. Does that make sense? So I need you to prepare for me to be wrong. Like, it's possible Bitcoin goes well above its origin line, which I've covered as well, but most of my content right now is it going to it. So in the event that something I'm not covering happens, I need you to be safe. If then statement, if Bitcoin is below its origin line, and that's it. All right. Because I can tell you guys and gals are playing this off of my analysis. Because the way it's dipping below places it really shouldn't. All right. It's y'all getting, the people doing high leverage, that's y'all getting liquidated. If you're playing the charts off of my levels. People on low leverage, that's you getting stopped out. Because it creates a bunch of liquidity, and the exchanges themselves know exactly where to go get it. And they have arbitrage bots to make price do the same thing on other exchanges. And this isn't held on a bunch of exchanges, so it wouldn't be a lot of work. So be careful with this stuff. All right. if it falls off this horizontal here, oh wow. All right. See how to use your object tree. Watch me do this over here above me. Click one, hold shift. Click the last one, bring it in, boom, bam, done. Oop. Now I need to go get that guy. Quick trading view tutorial. Okay. All right, finally. Ugh. I accidentally spotted a line. That line's going to be hit again. So it gets top, second one, third one. It's like skipping a rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, gets smaller. And then it starts. So after the move up in April, so the April Fool's rally, that's where it starts being under everything. Right? Becomes more attempted support as opposed to resistance. Okay, so it needs to be tested as support again, most likely. Now let me put on my live chart. I'm going to zoom in. Won't be so sloppy. Just wait. Shit. That's pretty low. Fuck. I mean, man. This next one, it might fall straight through this, folks. Because I think it needs to touch it. And it can't wait too long because, this is quickly approaching zero. I think it needs to touch that line. And I think it's going to happen in December. I would say, because I think that line needs to be touched, there is a higher risk that this origin line gets blown through. So keep that in mind. So that would be at the level of maybe 60 cents. Because it'll go through it and hit this line, probably touch. It's probably going to be around here. Let me make it black triangle. Not very deep into December. There you go. That's a black triangle, right? Hey, you put two triangles together. Yeah, it's still a triangle. There you go. Wow. Honestly, folks, this is going to be a big line. There's the number. Wow. You ready? I mean, I've been talking about, 70-cent Kadena for quite some time. So, we're almost there, but it looks like it's going to blow through it. Looks like it has a chance to blow through it. But if you're a Kadena fan, that just means you can buy more. You're not looking for a bull run today. You're looking to accumulate. So the cheaper it is, the more you can accumulate with the same amount of money. So don't worry about it. Don't complain. But yeah, so all this means this line is even more important now, because it might blow through there. And that's, yes, so be very ready. So now we've talked about upside potentials, upside thoughts, downside thoughts, and what would initiate the downside bigger move, and what to look out for. That is Kadena. All right, mildly average. So you're like a, what do you call it? A radical centrist. Okay. Tim, do you see Trias falling 40 to 50% back to 78 cents or going up to 250? It could do both. But it would do 250 before going to 70, 80 cents. I don't think it would do it in reverse order. So an if-then statement. If Trias, all right, let me go to the Trias chart. Oh, I had it out there because that is the timing of it. I see. Okay. Trias question on the live stream. Again, for the recording, my green screen or whatever program, it's messing up and I don't have time to fix it. The question is, do I think Trias would fall another 40 to 50% back to 70 or 80 cents? Or do I see it going up to 250? And my answer is possibly both, but in only one order. It can't do it in both orders. Meaning, both can happen if it goes up first and hits that target. Then, honestly, I would bet both would happen. Like, if it hits 250, I would bet both would happen. I would still, just like Solana, when it was $90, I said it could go all the way up to 150 and it's still going to hit between $12 and $22, no matter what. Months later, it went up to 146 bucks. Look where we are now. Like, it landed right at $12. Sure, it hit the next target down 7, but I was covering 12 to 22. Same thing here. This is the same concept. If it goes way higher than 250, okay, well then, maybe the bottom is honestly in. But unless it really seriously takes out that high and keeps on, using that support and proves it. Wrong side. It's still this will be like Solana hitting 146 bucks in 2022 on its last rally, or its possible death. It might be on its deathbed, but I'm not making those. So yeah, but in reverse order, no. If then statement. If Trias hits 80, then $2.50 is off the table for months and months and months. Like 180 days, most likely. All right. Trias price, it's still holding up pretty well. But, the only way to really make money from it right now is trading range. So I would say bottom of the range, top of the range. So this has two lines, 1, 2. This has two lines, 1, 2. Maybe make this up a little bit higher. Right there. So top of range, bottom of range. Point of interest. You make another couple of points of interest here, like a point of control or something. Oh, it's hard to choose. Somewhere about there. So, in general, if you see it come down to the bottom, could be not financial advice, could be a cautious buyer interested in becoming a buyer. If you see it go up and use one of these in a higher low, this line or this line as a higher low support, then also be long. But if price coming from here, coming down to it, I don't think I would necessarily confidently be looking to be a buyer until it hit the bottom. Maybe trying there, but I would wait till it hit or wait till it hit a higher low on that one or that one. So the same thing. Here, I would be a seller into this box personally. Pokemon cards only, not financial advice. Pokemon Trias, right? And I wouldn't be looking to buy it back, here. I would be looking to buy it back, one of these places. Since you can't short this, we don't have to talk about shorts. It's just spot trading. And that's how I would play it. So it could stay in this range for a long time, months. And there's a lot of money to be made. I mean, look, from here to here, just taking kind of the middle points, 20%. Right? So 22%. So if you did let's say you did it 5 times. And you had $100 and you got a 22% trade out of it, and you did it oops. I did something wrong. Oh. I didn't mean to that carrot there. All right, so on the first trade, this would keep going up in value, right? If you did it this theoretically 5 times, right? So then 122. I wanted to do this one step at a time. $22% trade over and over. Okay. Is that 4 times? I think that's 4 times. One more time. Up. There you go. That's 2.6x your money, making a 22% trade 5 times. There is a lot of money to be made in these ranges. Do you see this? Like, don't be disappointed if it goes sideways. There's lots. I mean, that's almost, almost 3x your money. Just from year to year. Not even taking the full range. And that's how I would play it. I would consider all of this a range. And I would expect it to stay in there until proven otherwise. And I would use this as my point of control. And the bottom here would be my point of interest. The top of this one would be my point of interest. Let me label this for you. There you go. Now everything's labeled. Oh, almost. Boom. Yeah, even if it's racing up here, I would treat it like a range. I'm telling you. Until it proved me wrong. Until it got above, use it as support, keep going. Or until it breaks down, use it as resistance, keeps going. I don't typically give analysis of straight sideways, but this is a young asset. It is moving straight sideways. The horizontals are going to work until proven otherwise. And that is your Trias price for you. And again, don't forget, this is like Solana $90. This is like Solana $146. But still most probable, like I said earlier, Doesn't matter if it comes up here. Still more likely to go down again. So yeah, this bear market's not over. This has news, but people's emotions, you know, leading them to hit the buy button. It's an emotional experience, right? Sell button, buy. Let's make one green. You know, these are deeply emotional. Well, once people see, you know, like the Japan, like, you know, see whatever stablecoin news or whatever the hell it is, something about a government, Japanese, Taiwanese, whatever. Yes, yes, emotions, emotions, emotions. Yes, it's all good. We're gonna get rich. 3 digits, here we come, 2023. And it drops 50%. Yeah, that was 50%. And then, okay, yes, it's going up now. Oh. Well, who is making price go up here? That same people. Who's making price go up here? Those same people. After 3, what do you think is not going to happen? Those people aren't going to keep saying, yes, yes. They're going to get buyer fatigue, and it's going to drop. So I would say that because it's a bear market, that's how this will happen. And that's why it'll go sideways. There was big news. The emotions, the emotional experience of hitting the buy button won't let go for a while. But also, the initial news has been sold. So it's, you know, I don't think it's going to come up here without more news. Like maybe the Japan government will actually talk about Trias as opposed to Trias talking about a Japanese government. They haven't, like, I bet you can't find a Japanese government mentioning Trias from their publications. If you can, prove me wrong. I mean, I would love to. Hell, I would probably buy if you could prove me wrong. And so I take that task, you know, like realistically, like I would like to be proven wrong. Anyway, that's how the emotional experience will probably go. Maybe up to here, maybe one more yes, and then it breaks down. But that's how I would say it in a bear market. In a bull market, yeah, I would be saying, hey, you know what? It might dip down here then skyrocket, but we're in a bear market, so that is not just where price will go and how long it'll go, but I'm guessing a sideways guess, which is a hard analysis to make, and roughly what's happening behind the emotions to explain that, and then the rough timing on when it'll break down. It'll likely break down from the 45-degree angle of this low back here at 80 cents. That's just usually how crypto works. It breaks down, and it usually aligns with the support. So it looks like it'll happen around Christmas. Around December 24th is when I expect all that to happen. Could go up to $1.77 in the meantime, but it's still going sideways in this range. Trias, done. Hey Tim, if you Google Street viewed the physical address of your favorite crypto project and it was a storage locker in New York, how would you feel about that? Working remotely and using a US address. We've already had that experience on Discord. I'm not going to name the coins, but I told them, yo, this is their address. They have multiple addresses. Okay, let's look it up. And it was not one of the nicer buildings in downtown, like Rome or no, Bucharest or Budapest or something. It was like the 4th floor, small window of the not so nice building, and the 2 building. Like, yeah, we've already been through this. But I don't trust the altcoin folks. This bull run, they're shady because they're treating it like a stock in IPOs. They're keeping almost all the money and not telling you how much there really is. And then they'll change their fucking tokenomics because they had more coins the whole time. They didn't tell you. Like, you know how many times this freaking bull run, Coin Market Cap did not have the tokenomics on there? Why? It says very specifically on CoinMarketCap, the project themselves, they can readily come in here and make the changes they want to provide this data for, you know, speculators or investors. People looking to get rich tomorrow on a bull run, which is fine. Like, hell, if everybody's doing it, then you might as well just be a better seller than them. And that's how you'll come up on top. Just sell a lot. Anyway, but that didn't happen in 2017, right? So I don't trust them anyway. That would just confirm my suspicions that you shouldn't trust these people. Like, if they say locked tokens, just realize that's marketing. It's bullshit. the likelihood of it being true is it's so close to zero. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust them anyway. That's why I'm a monetary coin fan. Like, and my whole play on monetary coins is starting to shape up, look pretty good. Because guess what could happen? Yeah, the SEC coming after Ethereum and a bunch of alts, which is very likely going to happen. That will probably take most of crypto down, downside with it. But even if it did, what is a possibility? What's another possibility? Or what are the two reactions out of that for I'm a company coins, so specifically monetary coins, which are a rare breed now. Everything else is an IPO. It's Nasdaq 2.0. They're all stocks, all of them. And they're a company without a real product. They're a company without real revenue, the vast majority of them, right? And then the vast majority of the ones with some type of product and revenue, it's just intra crypto services for the people who already bought it, who are already speculating on it, like the services for NFTs and Solana. So it's just a product to keep the investors distracted in the same ecosystem. Those are the products. That's not fucking real. That's its own self, intra crypto. Like none of this. So anyway, this might play out if the SEC does all this. Sure, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Monero, Dash will probably all have a snap down. But once people realize, wait, these monetary coins are not susceptible to the SEC at all. I want my money in crypto, but everything else is getting sued and like paying fines and tanking. There could be a race to Bitcoin, Litecoin, I dare say Bitcoin Cash, it would probably be part of it. Not that it deserves it necessarily, but Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Monero, it would be nasty, folks. Imagine all that money from all the other crypto projects when the SEC comes down on it. It only has a few avenues. Unlike how the money comes in, you have thousands of cryptos. Then you have stupid ass NFTs, which sucked like a third of the money of what would have been crypto investors. Right? All these ways that the water pressure could be diluted into a trickle, right? Because there's too many ways for it to go with the same amount of water. But now imagine all that water, and you only have like 2 ways to go. Maybe 3. 3 total. And each tube is kind of small, so the water pressure will stay high. One is so this is all the people with money in crypto, SEC coming down, everybody gets shit scaredless. There are only 3 tubes where money can flow, and they're all tight. They all will, even if like all 3 are full, just insane amounts of money flowing through, it'll still be high pressure. It'll be explosive. Hodling Bitcoin, getting money the hell out of crypto back into, some stable position, whether it's a stable coin or not. Sorry for the screen again, I'm sorry. And then the other one is coins that aren't SEC susceptible, which are only your monetary coins. Nothing else. And it could be a combo of the 3. And because each of the 3 tubes are small in diameter per the original diameter of the water flow of everybody's money, it could be freaking nasty. Nasty. All right. Anyway, so that's Papa Longballs. I went on a rant, but I don't know. A lot of things are coming to fruition. My play on monetary coins might have been the right bet for the next bull run. I was thinking it was going to take 2 more bull runs, but man, it might be both. I really don't know. But be thinking of that. Like, Litecoin is not a bad bet, folks. Like, if you think of it, comparing the specs of an Android and an iPhone, for example, I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but for example, the only way that Bitcoin has better specs, like one of the few ways that Bitcoin has better specs than Litecoin, is its hash rate / network security. Its uptime isn't better. Its block time isn't better. These aren't better. Right? Did I say the speed? Transaction speed isn't better. What's better about it? it's not more volatile, doesn't have more upside. Well, actually, this last bull run it did, so that's incorrect. So that's one way it is better than Litecoin. Technically, it had a much bigger bull run on a percentage basis. Network security, but Litecoin, things like that are technically spec to spec better. That's what the whole beginning run of 2016. Instead of everything's a freaking Ethereum killer, everything was a Bitcoin killer. They were all monetary coins. The concept of Ethereum and all that shit, even though it was invented and going, but it wasn't like public, like really catching on yet, right? Even though I think it was being developed since 2014 or something, but it wasn't like mainstream or whatever. It wasn't public knowledge. All right, more questions. Nate Daniels says, hey, Kosa's been doing some study on market psychology and was wondering if you studied general human psychology as well. Thanks. Nope. I only took one class ever in college. Psychology 101. Covered things like the light spectrum and how human eyes, interpret it. And if you look at a bright light, close it, you'll depending on the color it is, it's the inverse of the not pigment spectrum, but the light spectrum, how light mixes instead of pigments. It covered things on how to design experiments, run an experiment. Yeah, I only did one class. No, I never studied it. It was really cool though. I have a pseudo photographic memory, so that's why I can go back. It's almost been 20 years since I started college. DCF says, Tim, short term on Near, picked up a few at $1.45, looking to flip it at its highest bounce zone. Question about Near protocol as my camera's messing up. I apologize. I'll make myself small. Somebody wants to know short-term Near. He says he picked up a few at $1.45, looking to flip it at its highest bounce zone, and midterm bear lows for Fantom. Yeah. So we'll start off with Near protocol. I recently covered that. I'm going to make myself small because this is really annoying. I apologize. You said $1.45. Good scoop. He picked it up there. I mean, the chance of it getting out above this black triangle is very, very low. Oh, you could start now. I mean, you could just make a choice. You could do a middle heavy distribution. That didn't work. You can do a middle heavy distribution like this. So trying to sell there, trying to sell in the middle, trying to sell here, or trying to sell now type of deal, right? Because you're already in profit by, I don't know, it looks like 50. Yeah, 12%. So you can split it up into 4 zones and do a middle heavy distribution. You can do, again, not financial advice. This is only Pokemon cards. So it probably takes several hours to get up here. So I'll start from about this point right there. You can do, imagine you have 100 tokens of this. So we can turn this into a percentage. You can do something like 20 now, 20 just before that line, and 20 just after that line. Oh, no, so sorry. Dude. Sorry. Let me redo that. Hey, Tim, should someone tell him that's not 100%? Sorry. So 20 up here, 20 now, and then 40. No, I mean, sorry, 30. Jeez, my math sucks today. So you can do 20, 20, 30, 30, Or you could do something like, 15, 15, 35, 35. But I would do middle heavy distribution. And I have a video on straddling orders and the different ways you can do it and why it would make sense in some situations. I don't typically suggest that one, but in this case, it's probably the best way. But you can go to my my playlist and go to learning. Don't spill water on yourself. I should make myself a tutorial on that. Now I have water from this can all over me. In my Learn Trading Basics, it's the one that says straddle orders or like limit sells or something to that effect. Ladder, it might say ladder orders. Go to that video and it explains it. It's one of my older OG videos, but yeah, that's how I rock and roll to there. But I personally, being 12% profit, I personally, not financial advice, this is for me. If I were holding it at that point, I personally would do something like what I just showed you, honestly. That's how I would roll. Again, this is Pokemon cards only. This is not for taking action on. And near protocol zooming out. Yeah, once it comes back below this $1.55 line, I mean, it's going to have... We already talked about this last one. I mean, there's nothing... there's nothing else. So it's going to hit... It might ride this line for a while, but after a bit, even that's hitting. So in December 1st, that's hitting my own line. So yeah, it's going to hit this line over time. And it's going to keep going. Now that it has broken all-time lows, it's similar to breaking all-time highs. You get pretty bullish, right? Yeah, so $1 is almost baked into the equation. And that is your short-term and, I guess, downside midterm price action for near protocol and how I personally would play it on a spot trade. Midterm bear lows for Fantom. 45 cents. Man, it's not up at 45 cents right now. Maybe 4.5 cents. I remember when I think this is the coin, even before Verasity, that I blew people's minds. When it was up here like $3, I told them, this is going to hit 19 cents. And imagine being a noob. Hold on. People just like, it was so early before the bear market was even a word. I just let them know, no, it's still going to hit 19 cents. Like, it's going to happen fast. And people thought I was freaking nuts. They were thinking $12 and they hear 19 cents, like down 90%. Are you crazy? Here, let's see here. Fantom. Let's see here. FTM. I don't know. Did I put 19 cents? Title. 15. July. No. Oh, it might have been from before I covered coins individually. So when was this? I was making that guess sometime. Or no, it was back here. I'm so sorry. It wasn't $3. Yeah, it was this one. Oh, it was at $1. Right. And I said, it's going to hit 19 cents. Yeah, here. It was this one. You were like, no way. And then I think I made that call like over here. And then when it going up, like people on my channel, you're an idiot. Oops. Like, yo, just, you only had to wait, 2 months. Oh man. Yeah, that one was a good one. Then it actually went lower. But it's back there. I hate to say it, this is not a stopping point. It's going to be at that wick or that wick. This is not going to stop price. That's not, that's not how it'll work. So it'll be, let me zoom way in. So it was sometime in February. Yeah, so that analysis was back when I mixed all my videos. Darn it, so I won't be able to use. Here you go. Fantom Price, sorry for the green screen behind me. I haven't covered this in a little bit, but I was back in the day and during the bull run, around this time, once I knew it had hit a top, I made this is before I made videos specific to one coin, but it's in one of my March videos talking about Fantom. Be easy to spot, but I let people know when price was way up here, like everybody's like in a big, bull mentality, 75 cents, talking about $5, $10 Fantom, all that stuff. It's the best thing is slight spread. But this has got to hit 19 cents. It's going to correct now. And this was one of the, just like Verasity, I made that call near the true, like, first top. Then, like, a lot of things had a double top here. And then people on my channel came on and said, oh, you were so wrong about 19 cents. And then just about 20 days after that point, then it came down and hit 19 cents. I didn't anticipate that to happen, but I just knew it had to hit 19 cents. And it actually happened very quickly after that high, right? So I knew this area was a key line way back then, and price of Fantom just freaking fell below it. Like, this is not good, folks. All right? But where is it going to go down? Like, it does not have permission to bounce in that posturing. It has to test lower, period. It cannot take out this high until it tests lower. I can't call that a fact because something weird could happen. But it is a statistical, just almost near certainty. So the question is, where will it test down? That ain't it. The structure related to, I think this would be equivalent to Bitcoin's 16.4K, 17, and about 19, 20K area. This would be in the same zone. Therefore, Fantom is just extremely likely, and almost definitely will, at bare minimum, hit. Let me get the price right here. 13.8. Because this will not stop price. You could get a bounce from there, but that won't stop it. It needs to at least test here. What is more likely, because the total 2 and total 3 charts are getting ready to drop 45%. That means this might drop about 40 because it's a stronger alt. Oh no, that's 45% right there. So it actually looks like less than 10 cents is going to be hit. And I would say it could happen this year. It'll be close. Could be around New Year, but plus or minus. So if this is the New Year, plus or minus, I guess 20 days. And so in that 40-day period, I think it'll hit under 10 cents. If shit really hits the fan, Bitcoin sells off at the same time. No, Bitcoin sells off before the stock market. Then Bitcoin tries to stabilize before racing up, and then the stock market tanks, right? Kind of like an altcoin taking a big dip. And during its recovery, then Bitcoin tanks later, right? It takes down even more. Same thing could happen. If something like that were to happen, it's going to touch this green line. And it usually does that sort of thing at the same moment it hits a horizontal. Like the algos and the way that the exchange bots, how they massage price, it has to do with things on their radar and where they cross. So if things really get bad, it'll be after the new year. I don't see much of a chance of this level being hit before the new year. But if things really get bad, it's going to hit 5 cents. And it's going to happen around middle of January. Because when two super important lines cross, like it has the habit, not the guarantee, of sucking price into it. But I still think a 45 drawdown would be where I'm targeting over the next 60 days. That would be my target, under 10 cents. The upside, I don't need to talk about upside. You just fell off a cliff. What was supposed to be support just got flipped into the resistance. So there's no upside potential until this is support. Not until it gets above, but it gets above and uses as support. You don't even talk about upside. And that exact level, you can set an alarm there. Until your alarm goes off, you don't even have to think about upside. 1877, Fantom. All right. Hey, what's your opinion about BPro? Andre, I mean, anything, not BPro specific, but Total 2 chart is going to take a 40 to 50% dump. And it's going to happen in like 60 days. So just measure down 50%. That's what I think. So if it's at 0.008 now, cut it in half, 0.004. Yeah, I think it's not even specific to BPro. Like, yeah, you've seen this chart, right? There is nothing stopping it until here. It will hit this. It's already initiated. Like, it's initiated from this horizontal, but it's confirmed. Like, you don't even discuss getting, significantally above, of here, which for Bitcoin, what would that be the equivalent of? Maybe 20K? Yeah, about 20K. You don't even discuss it until it gets above there. Like, you don't even think about it literally. Hey, Michael Jackson's right on it. So all you worry about now is, since I'm not worried about upside until that triggers happen, so since the trigger isn't happening yet, till it does, I'm focused on downside. Okay, so now what do I focus on within that context? Until the charts tell me to think otherwise. I am looking for a backfill. I'm trying to guess how will this candle behave between now and the next candle open? Where will it, want to close? Will it spike all the way down here and then bounce, and then the next month, backfills, then, makes a higher low? I think that already would have happened, because looking over, there are only 8 days left. Can you see where it says 8 days? There are only 8 days left in the month. I don't think that's going to happen. So it could close higher. Yeah, that's fine. But it's still going to close under, here in 8 days. So, okay. So now that I don't think it's going to close bullish and I don't think it's going to close bearish, I can stop worrying about this closure and just start worrying how high up does. So now I'm kind of targeting. It's going to close around where it is now until proven otherwise. So I'm focusing my thoughts. And I know when to change them though, right? Like, I'm prepared to be wrong. Like, very, very prepared. I know the exact conditions on when, hey, what I'm thinking now is very likely going to be wrong. Now I already, it's like in baseball, you automatically know, like, whether it's a line drive or a grounder or whatever, you automatically know under any situation where you're going with the ball. So same here, but I'm prepared to be wrong. And if that is triggered, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's a line drive. Okay, go throw it to first and get the runner out who's not on back tagging, get a runner out like that. I know exactly where I'm going. So anyway, now all I'm worried about is if I'm right here and I don't have a reason to change my thoughts, where does the backfill go? And I'm considering it a backfill until it uses this level as support. Even up to here, racing up to here, I still think it's going to drop down, and it's all just a backfill until proven otherwise. And I can expect it to happen for about 9 to 15 days even. Probably not much longer, 15. But by the 15th, price should be below this wick low of December. Like, it's very, 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 very likely. Because we're closing in on this month and this closure. So closing below here is the confirmation. Closing below here, like closing anywhere like here, is just, it's just extra like cherries and icing and the kids and sparkles and gummy worms on your ice cream that you don't want, but your kids say yay. It's all that good stuff. This is getting ready to drop. So measuring it down, boom, that's 50%. Whew. Yeah, this is nasty. So what I did there in that analysis is, okay, like, I'm trying to figure out what do I focus on. And I could initially realize on this closure, I can stop thinking about this and this, but I know the exact conditions where I put those back on. But for now, I'm going to leave them on. And then within this context, here is what's going to happen and when. But also, I know when to start considering this one instead, or when to start considering this one instead, where it actually does close down here. Know the exact conditions. All right. You always know what it looks like to be wrong before you're wrong. You really need that skill set if you're gonna, like, not just for trading. I mean, just for TA and trying to do well next bull market. You're welcome. Yeah, I think I'm getting better about that on my channel. When I was first starting out, I always wanted to make a guess. I was right a lot, but the couple times I was wrong, it was really wrong. And so now, if I do make confident guesses, I think I've been really good at explaining, I need you to be prepared for me to be wrong, and here's what it will roughly look like if I'm wrong. I hope you're finding that valuable. Weiss, your messages got deleted. Not trying to shield, just curious on this recent price action. Thanks as always, Tim. La Poison, I don't see any of your other questions. I only see thanks as always, Tim, and hey, not sure what's going on. Infotech, yeah, I don't know. I can see you now, La Poison. I'm not deleting your chats, my man. I don't know. I have no idea. Message retracted. Eric, I just made you a friggin' moderator. That should fix it. La Poison, you should be able to answer now. Hell, you can delete other people's messages if you want. Please don't, but that's the only thing I can fix. All right, just dumped 20% of my New Year a few minutes. 20% of my near a few minutes ago and sell orders set all the way up to 172. Perfect, yeah. That would be a good idea. Okay, so let's, I didn't ever cover traditional markets. That's a back above that line. Whew. Not scared yet. I still think it's... But if I am wrong about the sideways or bearishness being the most likely scenarios, we are already prepared for Bitcoin to go up to and some and potentially bounce on the origin line, which would take it past 18K, right? So already prepared for that. We know what it would look like. We know exactly what levels and how obvious it would be, because I kind of proved the obviousness. But what would give you a front run, perhaps even before that happens, if US 500 or SPX, whichever chart you like more, this one just runs more candles, so I just like it better. If it takes out this high, I'm gonna be wrong. You will be able to see it here no. I guess technically, that is your trigger for I'm probably going to be wrong. Because Bitcoin actually could underperform the stock market as it goes, so therefore Bitcoin actually stays within where I'm thinking. That is possible. So I won't definitely be wrong as it happens, but it will probably make my bearishness / sideways guess incorrect. And you can literally just put an alert right here on the chart. And when you hear it go ding, that means Tim is probably wrong. 51% chance and increasing and rising. 52% chance, 53% chance, right? And I forgot to give you that in my analysis. It's going to be clear as day. Like everything, as weird as this is, everything is just hyper obvious right now. And we deserve it. We spent 150 days. Well, I guess the first 45 were actually pretty good. We spent 100 days with just nasty, choppy, hard to follow stuff. Like even my best suggestion to people is no trade. Like there are probably 3 or 4 days of every week. I suggest to my community, like right now is not a good trading day. Bitcoin's in a no trade zone. You are just guessing. That's not a good real setup, right? And now we're having everything being obvious. So use it. If you haven't ever traded before and you only plan to come in and be an investor and scoop bottoms, well, guess what? That ain't gonna work. Let's say you buy the exact bottom on all 10 altcoins that you want to buy, right? You're still not going to do well. If you're not buying and selling, even $5 worth of crypto, just hitting the buy button, hitting the sell button, even if you don't have a plan. It'd be better if you do, but just literally buying and selling to some degree. Doesn't have to be a lot. You're not hitting the buttons and you buy the bottom, you're still going to get your ass handed to you. Next bull run. A bear market makes it hard. The emotions are tight, are there, right? But, because the trading and money is emotional when it's moving. And you're making or losing money. But it's nothing compared to green candle euphoria. Like, it is a drug. Like, it is way more powerful than losing all your money and your house. As weird, it's true. Like I would bet if you got a panel of 10 psychologists, PhDs, that 9 out of 10 would agree with that statement. It is true. I already know it's true. I'm open to being incorrect, but I know it's true. I'm always open to being incorrect, though. But it's way stronger. So what does that mean? You're not going to hit the sell button. And then once it get the big flash crash and you never hit sell, okay, well I'm gonna buy it, once it gets a little bit up higher. And it never happens. And it goes down even more. And then another lower high. But I want to sell it way up there, and then it goes down another lower low. You're gonna get destroyed. I don't know who I'm addressing, but I know it's some of you. I've had this discussion multiple times on my Discord. So anybody not on the Discord, even if you are just wanting to be an investor, following my channel for these lows, that's fine. But I'm telling you, if you are not hitting buy and sell with don't worry about the amount of money, $5. $5 of BPro, $5 of XRP, whatever. And then just try to sell it somewhere, like actually make a half-ass game plan, right? Because you don't trade, you're just an investor trying to buy, where this dude on the internet is good at guessing lows is saying with Pokemon cards. But you still need to practice. Because you're going to get screwed, and that's exactly how it's going to happen. You won't hit the red button. Green candle euphoria is an extremely intoxicating drug. Among the most out of anything. Like, out of even recreational drugs. Like, it is strong. You're not going to hit the red button, and then you're going to want to hit the red button once it gets to a certain level, but it'll never get there, and you're going to repeat that cycle. Then, from buying the bare bottom to where you finally sell, you might be up like 5x, but you're actually down 95% from the top, getting your ass handed to you. So practice. The goal is not to make money in a bear market under this circumstance. So don't take that out of context. The goal is not to make money. Within the context of wanting to practice, so you are not scared to hit buy and sell back and forth. or just any times during the bull market in order to practice that emotional stimulus, right? Similar to, I want to enter a smacking competition, right? So I need to hit myself. I need to train my muscles and train my, my central nervous system for the stimulus. So you're going to hit yourself in the face a lot to get ready. That's what buy and sell is. You are literally, it's the same thing. Like even chemically down to the molecules. You are literally training yourself for a stimulus, which is emotional. Getting hit in the face is fucking emotional. And if you do it over and over and over, you're practicing for the big game so that it's not a shock to your system. That's it. You're training for boxing. Don't step in the boxing ring when it's time to, for the big show, which is the bull run. Practice, practice, practice. But within that context of wanting to practice, the goal is to not make money. Rather, it is to practice without a heavy, without it making it a large investment to practice. So you don't have to buy gold-plated golf balls, paying $1,000 for a jumbo, thing of balls at the driver range. You don't need, you just get the normal ones. Not much money. You're there to just hit golf balls. Not there to make money, right? You're there to hit, buy, and sell without incurring a large, taking any large losses, because your intent is to use it as practice, like a bucket of golf balls. Take me up on that. If you haven't tried it, you want to know how to practice, but you don't have anywhere to practice, or you want to do it with other people, that's what the community's for. And again, you can always check out mine, links in the description section. Happy holidays. I won't be back for another week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. New York. Peace out.